You're listening to the Orchestra Teacher Podcast, live from the Midwest Clinic, featuring special guest, Mr. Jason Heath of Eastman String Instrument Company.
I think these days for podcasting, there's no difference between like having a conversation off the mic or on the mic for me. Is that how you treat it?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I agree. It's very, very similar.
I think that's the way that we did it for my podcast back, you know, a year plus ago-ish or something like that.
It's crazy it was that long ago, but
I know.
And I think, having that just candid conversation is what most people want to hear anyway.
Yeah, totally. And I discovered your podcast. I'm trying to remember how I discovered your podcast. Oh, it's because Brad File was on your show, and Brad and I have known each other forever, and so you as well. And so I'm immediately clicked. I rarely click through on stuff on Facebook, but I click through immediately. Like, wait a minute, I have to listen to all of this podcast, and so that was fun. And I got to relive right before the pandemic because you were talking about events that were coming, and then boom, everything shut down.
And then there it was.
Yeah, and then here we are at an event.
We are at Midwest
finally,
2021, and it's been an awesome event so far. Just nice to be back. We are masking, but besides that, it's kind of like old times for the most part.
Feels like Midwest.
Yeah.
People are happy to be back. People are pumped at the concerts. People are excited at the booth. The energy's been pretty good from my end.
Good. Yeah. So my guest today, Mr. Jason Heath from the Eastman String Instrument Company, and he is a string product manager with them and double bassist extraordinaire, and he has his bass podcast. Tell us a little bit about your podcast.
Yeah, so I've been podcasting for a long time. So I have a podcast called Contrabass Conversations, and I would have called it Talk Bass, but that was already taken. So I chose the much wordier name, and we're coming up on 15 years. 1,000 episodes.
Wow.
And 3 million downloads. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah, so it's
before podcasting was cool.
That was when I had my iPod video.
Oh, yeah.
And I had to sync it to my computer. If I was out of town, I had to go to the library and hop on their Wi-Fi and download my podcasts. And it's a bit of a different era.
Oh, absolutely. With the everything's on the phone now, and so easy, so much easier to create podcasts. You don't have to have any coding, and yeah. So we've known each other for quite a few years now, at least just through different people, and now as being an Eastman clinician, we're being able to collaborate on some ideas and whatnot. So tell us a little bit about you're the string product manager, but I know there's some new products out, particularly the acoustic electric line have been out for a little while, but they're really starting to pick up some momentum. There was a session done here on Wednesday morning about these particular instruments, and tell us a little bit more about them and why they're awesome.
Right, yeah, and we launched them like right before the pandemic. So it was so now we're finally getting back in person. So this is the first time we've really done something at a trade show with a teacher and with students. And so we had these instruments we initially called our electroacoustic line. And then we realized that has one of the words that orchestra teachers the world over fear, electro. No, please. And it also doesn't really convey what the instrument is, because it's just any of our regular instruments you'd play, any of the Eastman instruments you'd have. But it has the ability to plug in and discreetly. So it has a pickup system embedded into the top, inside the instrument.
You can't even see it at all.
You can't see it. It adds no noticeable weight to the instrument. Put them on a scale, they're the same. And then it just runs down. And then on the violin and viola, the end button is replaced by a jack. And it's an 1/8-inch jack.
The smaller size, right?
We are playing around with a 1/4-inch option, because some people are just, if they want to play with a band or something.
Just plug in real fast.
Yeah, but there's an advantage to this 1/8-inch jack for violin viola, which is that there really is no way to tell that it has any way to plug in at all. It looks exactly like every other instrument.
Yeah, it does.
It's like stealth mode.
When I got a couple demos from you, and when I first got them, I'm looking around on the sides where the jacks normally are located, and there was nothing. So then I found the end button.
Yeah, right, exactly. And then in the cello, it's just down by the end pin, so it's very discreet. And so so we rebranded it as Eastman Plus, Series Plus.
Eastman Plus.
Yeah, so it's your Eastman instruments plus these other things. But then the big question is, like, what other things? And there's so much you can do and want to do and probably should do as a teacher to show the spectrum of possibilities for a student, right? And I think I'm a former high school orchestra director. I think we all fall into the trap of just kind of getting up on the podium, running youth orchestra in school, and there's nothing wrong with that. But think about what those kids are going to do when they leave. Some of them will play community orchestra, but what if you could give them the ability to do more creatively with other musicians, with themselves, and just like plugging in and tapping into the world of digital audio workstations, what you can do with your phone, multi-track, not to mention pedals. What if you add, we heard there was a product showcase we did yesterday with a wonderful teacher named Leo Park at Northside College Prep in Chicago, and he had his students playing their own compositions that they'd written using effects, octave doubling, chorus, delay, and just all of a sudden it's like you were painting with couple colors, forte, piano, brighter, softer, and then all of a sudden you get all these other possibilities.
That's
looping
cool.
with yourself, and so so what we're trying to do is just give people more possibilities.
Yeah, that sounds great. I think a lot of kids nowadays, see our instruments as being these older things, and they're not cool, and they're very limited in what they can do. But once you plug in and even on a very basic setup, like with an iPad or something like that, plugging in and adding the ability to add those effects and be able to record and loop record and do all kinds of cool things, add a drum track to what you're doing, that's what I think that's what a lot of kids want, to be able to maybe mimic some of the things they're listening to on the radio or be free to compose or whatever. So that definitely does open it up. And
well, I thought you'd be a great person to check them out because of the skill set that you have and what you do online and with your students. You are, because not all educators maybe see those possibilities so clearly. And so what we're hoping is find more educators that can show people, hey, here's what I do. Here's here's what my students do. Because I think a lot of people, what they know they want to do more, but what they need is just an example. What could you do? Because I in my music training, I wasn't taught how to do anything with pedals, effects. I knew, we had these standards, some more vague, some less vague, about students should improvise, create music, take some autonomy, and sitting in the viola section and being told what to do from the teacher. Wow, that's great, and there's a place for that, and I love playing in orchestras. Giving them some autonomy is great, and just giving them something that's a little more multifaceted, and electronics do that in so many ways.
That's right.
It's like everything you could do anyway. We love playing orchestra. We love playing string quartets. We love just the raw acoustic sound of an instrument, which these have.
Yeah.
Plus,
well, that's a nice thing is, a lot of orchestra directors are the students want to get an electric instrument. Well, they can't really use that in the classroom, but these are so discrete. And what lines can be plussed, if you will, like with the electronic?
Anything. Yeah. We have a few that are just coming standard, like a student model. I believe it's the 100 series, that a 405 and a 605 and a 701. I should know this better off the top of my head, but the answer is we can put this into any violin, viola, cello. We thought about doing bass, but there are so many solutions for bass anyway. Right. It's like bassists have been solving this for 40 plus years.
They've got it down.
Right, and so it's just it's something that our president Saul had the idea at Burning Man. Actually, he was just watching some electronic music being created, just watching the freedom that people have, and thought, how could this translate over? And we're just excited. We're in this phase right now. We're just seeing what people come up with and can do, because there's so many possibilities, and it's been exciting to see what Leo Park, this teacher we've been collaborating with, what he did. And I had so many questions Wednesday and Thursday here at Midwest from teachers who saw the session, and I video recorded Leo's session, so I'll try to cut that up for social media.
Cool.
And we're going to have some more presentations from Leo and hopefully some others in the future. So we kind of feel like this is the way things are going to go in the next 5 years, 10 years. So hopefully we're just sort of seeing the future.
And everybody will be able to access those videos once they're available. Is that going to be on the Eastman site, or is it going to be on your...
Oh, yeah, it'll be on the Eastman. All this will be on these. Yeah, go to eastmanstrings.com. That'll link up to YouTube. That'll link up to Instagram. Perfect. Anywhere you hang out, we're hoping we can find you there.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I think those will be great resources for people just to... Like you said, a lot of orchestra directors are a little bit cautious and of the unknown, and not necessarily willing to extend what they do. So especially when it comes to technology, electronics. So this is going to simplify it and maybe give some ideas. And if you're in a rut in your classroom and you want to try something new or expand what you do, maybe purchasing a couple of the Eastman Plus instruments that will let you take things to the next level, or issue them to your students and tell them to go home and see what they can figure out to do. And, I think that it'll expand the creativity for sure.
Yeah, I hope so. And if anyone if you're listening to this podcast, you're a curious person. And so congratulations, or you're being held captive and someone's playing it, but that's probably not that option. And so if you'd like, you can always reach out to me directly, jheath@eastmanstrings.com. Or if you just look up Jason Heath, you'll find me. Happy to answer any questions or ideas. I mean, we're really just in this phase of trying to see what people do. Because I was always struggling as a music teacher to do more with my students, and it's hopefully this is a tool that can ease the burden on the teacher and just facilitate creativity for teacher, for student, for everybody.
Yeah. So you taught here in Chicago for a number of years.
Yep.
And then you were kind of on your own. You've done all kinds of tours with your bass and performance-wise. And how long have you been with Eastman now?
I've been with Eastman since 2017.
Okay.
But the reason I got connected with Eastman is because when I was a high school orchestra teacher, I bought Eastman violins, violas, cellos, basses. And I even remember going into a music shop here, and they had all these different instruments for me to try. And I said, I like this the best. This sounds the best. And so I've been a customer before I was connected with the company. I got connected with the company, and the more I did with them, the more I said, this is a cool company. This is an innovative company. This is a great people that are really trying to solve problems and help people. And so it's really been fun to get into that side of the music world, coming from the performance and teaching world. It's really fun to try to find ways to solve things and make things easier for other people.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Yeah, I've always had amazing luck with Eastman instruments throughout my career, whether it's the lower models, entry-level models, to students who have upgraded to some of the higher-end models too. They're just great sound, great quality, and affordable, and just a great value overall. So.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to talk about this. I talk with you about anything, Charles.
I know.
Eastman will be thrilled too.
I wouldn't talk about it if I wasn't, a firm believer in it, and part of what I do. So
nice. Well, I'm glad that you've been checking them out for some many new products for you to check out.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very cool. Yeah. Again, you can reach Jason through his email. What is it? One more time.
jheath, JHEATH @eastmanstrings.com. And if you forget, if you're running or doing washing dishes or whatever you do while you're listening to this podcast, just look up the name Jason Heath. I will appear, and you can contact me.
And we'll put some links in the description to the Eastman website if you guys are interested in checking out the new line, or the traditional line, I guess, as well. And but this is great that we were able to have a short conversation here about new instruments and things, and about Midwest. And it's just, like I said, great to be back and meeting with people and just networking and seeing all the great concerts and sessions here at Midwest again.
I knew it would be fun. I was a little bit trepidatious because I hadn't done a big show, and as soon as I got here, I was like, all right, this is great. It's so great to hang out with you and carve time out. Our second podcast conversation for our respective podcasts. I can't wait for the third one and the fourth one, and to keep it rolling. So Charles, you're amazing. I love everything you do. I talk about you all the time to people. Send links to your various projects. So just keep it up. You're contributing in a really meaningful way.
Oh, I appreciate it, and thank you for coming on the show today, and just a pleasure to chat with you, and always learn from you and be inspired by you and what you're doing. So thank you all for listening, and for the Orchestra Teacher Podcast, live from the Midwest Clinic 2021. We're signing off for today. Everybody have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. To find resources and more information, visit our website at www.orchestrateacher.net.